Hey, Coach, thanks for taking the time today. We're going to start with Elliot and then we'll go to Jeff.
Hey Nick, last week after the Falcons game, you said you had even more conviction in your fourth down decisions with a chance to review them. I was just curious, 24 hours later, how you view some of those decisions from yesterday, and particularly that one at the end of the first half.
Yeah, every time we go for it on fourth down or set ourselves up to go for it on fourth down, I'm doing what I think is best for the football team at that particular time. Um, I'm not going to get into. I know I tried to share with you guys as much as I could last week. I don't think I'm not gonna make that a weekly habit of explaining that to you guys. Like I said, I did that last week. The I say this every time I do something like that, I'm doing it because I think it gives us the best chance to win the football game. And knowing very well that when you don't convert on fourth down, you know, what's going to happen is when you don't convert on fourth down, that's going to be 100% on me. Regardless, and that's my role as the head football coach. That you know, when that play doesn't go the right way, there's going to be blame to be had, and that's going to be on me. Obviously, we'll fix whatever we needed to fix within our team meetings and within our position meetings and within our offense and defensive meetings to get the things right that we need to do. But anytime something like that happens, I'm doing that because again, I'm making the decision that I think is best for the football team. Sometimes that works out. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I come back at the end of it and rethink it every single time. But in the middle of it and in the middle of the as it's happening, I'm making the best educated decision I can to help the football team win.
We'll go to Jeff and then Brooks.
So if I may follow up on that one before the half, there was 14 seconds
I
remaining.
did what I thought was best for us in that particular case, and hey, it didn't work. And so, like I said, when it doesn't work, there's nowhere else to look but right here, right on me. I told you guys last night. There's nothing to follow up on. I told you guys last night who called the play. That was me. I called it, and
Yeah.
it didn't work there in that situation.
Did you think that you would have two opportunities if you did get the first down?
Yeah,
You still thought because there'll be 10 seconds left.
I still thought we would get two opportunities.
Because you still have to kick the field goal
I
if you didn't.
understand that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll go to Brooks and then Chris.
Hey Nick, since yesterday, is there the league reviews plays every play, but has there been anything from you guys to check in with the league on the hit on Devontae or Darius Slay?
Yeah, I'll never share information that I'm gonna have with the league. Those just like my I think I've told you this. Any conversation with a player, any conversation with Mr. Laurie, any conversation with the league, those are private conversations, and I respect your question, and I want to be able to help you do your job and help the fans understand more. But I got to keep those. There's things that I have to keep. Private, and that will be something. And obviously, we'll turn in anything. I guess I can just answer it big picture wise, Brooks. Like I'll turn in anything that we feel like is a questionable call. And I don't want to get into. I never am going to challenge anyone's integrity. Those guys are out there playing as hard as they possibly can on both sides of the field, and so I'm never going to question that. And I think their guys are don't want to get too much into the play, but everyone was playing hard on that play. And I love Smitty, and I'm really sad that happened to him, and that not only that he got hurt on that particular play. And just hoping that he's recovering, continuing to recover here, and but that was a tough play to watch on film.
Go to Chris and then EJ.
Afternoon, Nick. After the injuries to Lane Johnson and Mekhi Becton, how much did the offensive game plan change after that? And when you look at that, do you feel like yeah, I'll just leave it at that. How do you feel about how do you
Yeah.
think that?
Offense, you do some different things based off who's in the game. some different schemes here and there. Sometimes it's the same that you run. Sometimes you help on the protection. Sometimes you don't. But when you lose, those guys and you lose the right side, that's tough. And those guys, what happened was, Tyler and Fred came in and played outstanding games. As you continued on with the game, you realized, hey, you can just keep rolling with what you got because they're doing such a good job. And so, man, credit to those guys. And we talk about roles a lot. That's a conversation that we have before each season, as you guys know, of what everybody's role is. And those guys' role was to be ready to go, to be on the field goal unit, but then to be ready to go if their number is called, and they sure were. Because we played a really good defensive front yesterday, a ton of respect for that defense and that football team, and we played a really good defensive front. And those guys came in and really played well. There's some things that were happening. They had some combo blocks together, Tyler and Fred, where they're working in unison on an outside zone play that Saquon had a good run on. Fred had a block down, a down block on a gap scheme play on a third down where he really did a good job of displacing the defensive tackle. They did well in protection. I mean, just can't tell you how happy I am for those guys, and to see one of the first guys I came in when I was walking up the tunnel. I saw Fred, and it was only Fred and I in the tunnel, and just gave him a big hug. And man, I could see how happy he was. Just from the way he performed. He's worked hard at that, and that's awesome when something like that happens. And so I was excited for him. I was excited for Tyler. Paris Campbell did some really good things too. That when it was called upon, and so that's a team, right? That's when you have all that, and everyone playing their role. Everyone's role is not the same, but everyone's role is vitally important. And man, it was fun to see those guys. Obviously, bummed that you lose players that we lost, but fun to see those guys go in there and perform. And that's a credit to the guys they're replacing as well that have helped them get better. I know Lane is such a good teammate that he's always trying to help guys become better football players because he cares about the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, that's awesome, and that's why I love this football team, is because the people on this team know that we can't be great unless we have the greatness of other people, and our team knows that.
We'll go to EJ and then Ruben.
Hey, Nick, kind of piggybacking right off of that, I wanted to ask you specifically about Fred. He's talked before about, the last couple of years working behind the scenes on the scout team and kind of like the way that his relationship with Jeff Stoutland has developed over that time. I guess what's your vantage point been of the last couple of years that he's been in the building?
Yeah, just him, Fred, first and foremost, Fred having the want to just continue to get better. Fred's obviously very talented and has something that you can't teach, is just massive size and strength and athleticism. And he came here and got a fresh start here, and he's worked his butt off. And Stout pushes him. I told Stout last night when we were coming home on the plane, I'm like, man, no, I enjoy going to your, once a week I've been going to the offensive line meeting room, and I've really enjoyed going to the offensive line meeting room and listening to that, and listening to Stout coach those guys and how those guys react and how those guys respond. And I know he's pushed Fred. I heard him push Fred on Thursday in that meeting room just to get better. Stout's constantly on the guys to get better, and he lets no detail slide. And I love that about Coach Stoutland. Sure glad he's our offensive line coach, and and Fred, and that's a combination. So that's a combination of the Stout refusing to not let refusing to let Fred slide in any way, because all he cares about is Fred getting better, and then Fred putting in the time, putting in the work, putting in the all the things that he does to get better. And so now Fred just got to build upon that. That's a great stepping stone to build upon, and just ride his momentum right there to just continuing to play better football.
We'll go to Ruben and then Ed.
Hey Nick, with the wide receiver injuries, I guess you're facing the possibility you won't have your top three guys Sunday down in Tampa. I was wondering if you could just talk about the guys who you do have, and do you feel like you have enough at that position to go play a game?
Yeah, obviously, we'll see as the week goes on. We'll see who's going to be available. We'll plan for everything. Like I said, from the very beginning, I really have a lot of faith in this room, in that wide receiver room. We have, Johnny, we have Paris, we have Jahan. This is, I know Jahan hasn't had a ton of catches, but I think he's been playing efficient football. And sometimes it's just a matter of seeing it and then, going out there and planning some more things for him and doing some more things to get the ball in his hands. And then, we got some practice squad guys that are working hard, and we'll see how this all plays out. But I got a lot of faith in the room. And it just doesn't, it can look a lot of different ways, right? So I have a lot of faith in that tight end room, and I have a lot of faith in the running back room as you look at the skill positions. And so a lot of different things you can do. Obviously, really early in game planning, and I probably wouldn't share it with you anyway as far as what we'll do there. But we got options, that's for sure, just because we feel good about the work that these guys have put in and the players and the teammates that they are.
We'll go to Ed and then John.
Yeah, hi, Nick. Just to kind of follow up on that receiver question from Rube. Johnny Wilson, he had the big catch, I think, yesterday for 9 or 10 yards, first down catch. He also got caught for holding. But what have you kind of seen from him behind the scenes in his progress here in his rookie year?
Yeah, I just think he's really tough, first and foremost. Talent's just the beginning, but it's about how tough you are if you're going to reach your ceiling. And so obviously talented and unique. He has unique traits with how big and strong he is. He's able to do some different things that we need, some dirty work things that we need, and then he'll be called upon, if we need to make some plays catching the football. And so, I loved his first catch yesterday of putting his head down and being. He's a big dude, and then trying to tackle him was hard for those guys, and he was able to get some yards after catch and get the first down on that. So I just think I've seen toughness. He's continuing to learn everything there is to learn about playing wide receiver in the NFL. Obviously not going to learn that all in one night or one season or two seasons. That takes time. But he's uniquely talented and unique, and he's got toughness, which I'll take tough guys on this football team any day of the week. Those are the guys, like it's like basketball. Your shot's not always falling, always falling, right? Sometimes in football, you're not getting opportunities, or it's not coming your way, or it's not going your way. But it's those guys who play with relentless effort and toughness, that can overcome things not continue, kind of going your way with the ball in your hands.
We'll go to John and then Dave.
Hey, Nick. You mentioned the team as a whole having kind of a rough week and getting past that adversity, specifically with Jalen Carter. What do you think clicked from that standpoint?
John, I thought we got off the map pretty quick, and because I just think that there was this urgency after the loss, and of, hey, no one liked that taste in our mouth, and let's. So it was handling the adversity of the initial thing and just how you're going to respond to it. And so, Jalen Carter, he didn't play his best game, obviously, against Atlanta, but he came out and he was completely dominant in the game yesterday. Sometimes I share with you player of the game, sometimes I don't. He was our player of the game yesterday, and so he gets a game ball for yesterday because of his performance. But what changed was, at the end of the day, I said this last week, right? It's about playing defense is about just your relentless effort. Playing defense is about striking blocks and playing, especially that, striking blocks, Playing defense is about shedding blocks. Playing defense is about tackling, and playing defense is all being on the same page. You do those things well, you're going to have an opportunity to play good defense. And so that's what I saw from Jalen Carter. He'd strike. You know, he was violent yesterday with his hands. He was athletic to get off blocks. He beat blocks every way you could possibly imagine. And he played on their side of the line of scrimmage an awful lot. And so, and as a result, he let other people make plays. Not only did he make plays, but he helped other people make plays. There was multiple plays where I felt like our linebackers were running free because they were hanging on the double team of his block for a little bit longer. And so I loved his response, John. Is really at the end of the day, like, again, you can have a negative mindset, or you can have a purpose mindset. And the purpose mindset says, hey, what did I screw up the game before? This, and this, and how I'm going to fix it. Here, this, and this, and then going out and executing it. And he did that. And I think that's just a good example for our entire team of there are going to be little losses throughout each game of every game. There's going to be little wins. There's going to be little losses. You can't get held up on either of them. You just got to play the next play and learn from the little losses that you have. And that's what I felt like really happened. I felt like, that's what I said to the team today. I felt like, and I've kind of mentioned all of them here, I felt like everyone had a role on in that field yesterday, and everyone, and we had mistakes obviously, but we needed everybody, with the examples of Fred and Tyler and Paris. We handled adversity. So we got better from adversity, the way we handled cut blocks, the way we struck on the line of scrimmage, different things like that. I thought we played tough against a tough football team, and I thought we played together as a team. That was so obvious on the sideline, just how much everybody was there for each other through the ups and downs. Hey, we got you. Hey, no, we got you. Hey, you're going to crack out of this. We got your back. Whatever it was, man, it was that's, and I said that again, those four things to the team about that. It was awesome, and it was a good team win.
We'll go to Dave and then Zach.
Hey, Nick, how often will you decide to call a play on offense, and what determines when you do?
Yeah, just, I don't say a number, but here and there, that's going to happen. And that's regardless of, whether it was 21, 22, 23, or 24. We're all coming up with the game plan together. We're all putting in the work together. We got good minds on the offensive side and defensive side. And so, you talk through things. Kellen's obviously the one calling plays, but everything is collaborative as far as the way we go through our process. And in game, that just because I did it in that one, that doesn't mean there's not a play that Kevin Patullo's not saying in the ear of Kellen, hey, what do you think about this there? And Kellen going, yeah, I like that idea. Or, Jeff Stoutland or Jason Michael on a run play particularly, or TJ on a run play saying, hey, they're doing this in this scenario. What do you think about this? Now, and so that happens throughout the game over and over and over again. And I mean, that's just the way every staff I've ever been on, whether I'm the head coach or whether I'm the offense coordinator or whether I was a quarterback coach or whether I was a receiver coach, that's how that works. And that's how that worked. And I'm assuming that's like that for, teams I haven't been on as well. And so, but I also understand the scrutiny that will happen. When something like that happens, I wanted you guys to know yesterday that in that scenario, that with a questionable call there, that I made that decision, right? And so that's why I let you guys in on that, because Kellen didn't need to bear that because I did that. And so that's why I brought you in on that yesterday, not to open the door of, well, how many times you call this or how many times you call that or how many times is this it's collaborative. And in that particular case, I called that one and it didn't work. And when that happens, I will always make sure that you guys know about that.
We'll finish with Zach and then Olivia.
Hey, good afternoon, Nick.
Hey, Zach.
You said yesterday that the interception was on you. I know you take responsibility for everything, but what specifically about that interception was on you, and then the route concept there. How comparable was it to the touchdown Devontae scored a week ago?
Good eye, Zach. It's close. That's a good eye by you. It's close. It's similar. A there's subtle differences and subtle different things there. You know, in that particular case, like when I say that, like, did I put him in position? Did I show him enough tape of we have plenty of plays like that where we really work hard to get in that window. And yeah, I think in those scenarios, those happen. And did I show them? I always think like that. Like, did I show them enough times because that's something I'll do in team meetings. Like, hey, here's a mistake that we made, and here's what it's supposed to look like, right? And you sometimes you show videos of your team, sometimes you show videos of other teams, and that's always on my mind, Zach. Like, if I didn't feel like I showed them that, then I missed that one step of that I needed to, and I don't think I did good enough job like showing that route that we were running there against all the different looks that you can get. Because sometimes that safety can be outside and that angle looks different. Sometimes the safety can be inside and that angle looks different. Sometimes that safety could be in the middle of the field and that angle looks different. And so I'm really hypercritical on myself as far as, did I show them and our coaches, did I show them every look they possibly could be in? And I know there's countless amounts of looks, but there are certainties and routes. I'm really convicted on this. Obviously, my history as a wide receiver. Man, I played wide receiver a long time ago, so I'm not saying. But that and my history as a quarterback coach, trying to get the receivers right, and as a wide receiver coach of putting them in every one of those scenarios. Because you can only have so many different things, right? Outside, inside leverage, middle open, middle closed, man, zone, soft zone. And yeah, that's where I was feeling on that yesterday, Zach, is but I think I think that's what everyone's got to go through, those processes of what could I do better to help the team, right? Smitty's out there busting to make every play he can. And so what am I doing as a coach to put him in every spot that I could possibly put him in? So that's what I was referencing yesterday, Zach. Not just hey, my fault. It was more, I really thought through that as far as how we run that route versus different looks.
Thank you.
We'll finish with Olivia.
Hey, Nick. Bryce Huff had 18 snaps yesterday. Most of them were in pass rush scenarios. It seemed like a relatively quiet day for him. What is the biggest hurdle for him to clear right now in order to become the impactful player that the team hoped to have when they had signed him in the offseason?
Yeah, just keep plugging away. Just keep going. Keep working hard every day. Like, I really do believe that the guys, sacks and pressures come in waves. When one guy gets hot, they start rotating the slide the other way or giving help the other way, and then the other guy gets hot. And so it's just time. And I do think I got a lot of faith in Bryce and the things that he can do. Obviously, that's why he's here. And I'm excited for the time where he's gonna have a big time game. And I know he puts the work in. I know he's ultra talented. And I got no doubt in my mind that he's going to continue to get better and have a good impact on this football team.
Thanks for the time, Coach.